Let's look at what I mean by saving this tree to a permanent library, because at the moment, obviously within this particular project, I can go on replicating these trees and replicate them at any size. But what about if I want to save one out of Procreate so that I can use it whenever I want? And I could also use it in different programs like Layout for SketchUp, for instance. I could use it in Photoshop if I was using Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is switch off a couple of those trees, just leaving one. You can switch them off with this little selector here, on, off, on, off. So I haven't deleted them, but they're currently switched off. What I'm then going to do is select this one, highlighted in blue, go to here and position it. I've got uniform here as a selector, which means that any one of these toggles will uniformly fill out that whole space. And I've positioned it there. Now, currently this tree is sitting on a white background, which of course is not much good to us. We need it on a transparent background. And so if I go to here in the layers and I switch off the background color, you can't really see it because it's black on transparent, but it actually is definitely still there. You can see it's still there and just about see a shadow of it, but that's what we need to export out of Procreate. So I'm going to go to the spanner here, the actions, and share it with myself as a PNG. Essential to save it as a PNG at this point, and I just simply save the image. Now that I've saved the image, that is actually in my permanent library. What do I mean by permanent library? Well, it's not fully permanent yet, in that if we go to my photos here, you can see that it has been saved out. So there it is, and if we touch that, it's there. That's just simply in my photos. But what I need to do is now save it into albums. So let's look at what I mean by saving into albums. I'm going to open albums here, and you can see I've set up a whole series of albums very specific to my work, things like Sketch Plan, Plan Photorealistic, Procreate course. All of this relates to my work on the iPad, but it's out of Procreate. This is just simply iPad storage and photo storage under albums. And so what I need to do is find something relevant, plants in plan. Here it is. Here are some plants that I drew previously. And then all you need to do is to add to this. If you scroll down to the bottom of albums there, you can see a little plus sign. Touch the plus. There it is. I touch that, I add it, and that's now in my album of plants in plan. So whenever in future I want to draw on that, or rather extract it, this is what I need to do. Let's say I'm in a totally fresh Procreate project, starting from scratch. So I go to Gallery, Plus, and open a Procreate project. So I want to use that tree symbol. How do I access it? Well, all I do is I go to Spanner. From the Spanner, I go to Add. From Add, I go to Insert a Photograph. It is still there because it's still there in my generalized photos, but let me just show you how albums work, because Procreate accesses the albums directly. Here it says albums, and you can see that all my albums are simply listed on the left here. And so if I scroll through these albums, you'll find that at a certain point it says plants in plan. But there it is. I touch plants in plan, and sure enough, that's the tree that has now been saved permanently to the library. And so if I touch that tree, it will come straight into Procreate. There it is. And this could be happening in 6 months' time, of course. And then if I wanted another tree, then I do exactly the same thing again. Add, insert a photograph, albums, scroll through, and you get to plants in plan. And once you've found that, there they are. And so if I wanted a completely different plant, let's say this one, then this is one I drew earlier, and it comes straight into Procreate like that. And I can start to populate this garden as easily as this. Swipe to the left, duplicate, and move out. Maybe rotate slightly so it doesn't look too obviously cloned. Swipe to the left, duplicate, and so it goes on. If I want to get back into that tree, all I need to do is to look at my layers. There it is. Touch that, swipe to the left, duplicate, and then here I am, and I've got another tree in that image. And you can see that I can now populate gardens with graphics of my own drawings, of my own plants, so not being dependent on other people's clip art, but just simply using my own. but never having to draw these ever again, and filling an image like that in seconds.